Hello and welcome to ACS Golf and this week's review. I'm looking at this, the Cobra Fly-Z Plus from 2015. Now the reason I'm looking at this is number one, I'm a massive fan of Cobra. I play the Dark Speed X, been in the bag all year, and I wanted to see if you can go back, well, past the F9, because for me, when the F9 came out of Cobra, it's really when the masses went and brought their drivers, it was very good. A lot of people put it in the bag. But I want to see if you can go back further than that and save yourself a bit of money by picking up an older Cobra driver and see if it still performs just as good as the new stuff. Because let's be honest, this is the whole point of the channel. We're doing a lot of new reviews recently, but the crust of it is to go back and get these older clubs, review for you guys from the point of an average golfer, just about a low handicapper playing off 8, to see if it is worth for you guys to pick it up and use them, because if it works for me, it's going to work for you. So getting a little bit back to the roots today with getting a nice drive from 2015 rather than the sort of more modern stuff I've recently been reviewing. And also I wanted to get it because this one is a driver that Rickie Fowler won a lot of stuff with. Huge fan of Rickie Fowler. When he was in his peak, let's be honest, sort of thing, your mid 2010s, he won the Scottish Open. Well, I mean, Scottish Open. Yeah, Scottish Open with this. He won the Players Championship with this as well. Just double checking there. He was on fire. And he did it all with this driver, and I probably would have done it with an orange one as well because he does love orange. That's what I used to love about the old Cobras as well. By the way, you could pick your colour, so you can go and get some really crazy colours out there. Some of you won't like it, but I love that. I absolutely love it. So as always, what we're going to do is we're going to have a closer look at this club, come back here, go over the technology that's in it, and then we're going to get down the range, going to throw you some figures at you, and then we're going to come back here for the ACS golf scale. There we go, got it out, ACS golf scale, and my overall thoughts about this club. I will also say as well, I have already done a versus video of this against my current driver, the Cobra Dark Speed X, same shaft, same loft, same weight position. So do check that out to see who won that in the competition of old versus new. And also do remember to subscribe to the channel, guys, for weekly reviews like this, and also extra videos like the versus video as well, and a few other things that you don't want to miss out on. Remember, it is free to do so. All right then, anyway, without further ado, let's have a look at this club, which some of you are probably looking at the moment, as I mentioned, going, ugh. Well, I'm looking at going, oh, yes, thank you very much. All right, let's have a closer look at it. So there you go. A really cool looking club. I really love the look of this. Let's get into the technology now that's in this club. So going through all of it, the Fly-Z Plus driver features the new flip zone weight technology, which provides 2 different flight paths in one club to maximize difference for any golfer. The key to increase distance is the ultra low CG that can be moved front or back to promote faster ball speeds, lower spin, and optimal launch based on your swing. So you had this, which I've actually undone the weight so you can see. So you can put it in this, weight at the back, higher MOI, better launch, but it's going to be more spin. And then you could literally put it through there, switch it, there you go, do it up, and then suddenly it's a low spin bomber. Weights right at the front, the center of gravity is at the front, it's going to be low spin and low launch as well. Really cool little technique they do there. I really quite like that, to be honest. Can't imagine it's the most aerodynamic thing, but really sort of cool thing they've done. I like it. It's a good thing. Moving on to the technology, you've got the speed channel technology work to maximize face thickness, resulting in increased ball speed from across the face. So you've sort of got that speed channel around there, the idea of variable face thickness across the face to increase your off-centered hits. Got a multi-material construction that maximizes discretionary weight from the face, hosel and crown, which is placed low and back for maximum forgiveness. So even though this is still technically the low spin model, you had another Fly-Z which you didn't have a movable weight, was right at the back, that was your higher MOI model. you know, they still are moving around in this club head to give you maximum forgiveness that this sort of shape could. You've also got a MyFly, a technology which allows golfers to tune loft to maximize distance with a smart pad, ensures a square face regardless of the setting. So same with all, well, modern day Cobras, apart from not anymore actually, they're about to change the hosel. So do be aware of that for next year when the new Cobras have come out, unless you're watching this in 2025 and the new ones have come out. Personally, I find it a little bit annoying because it just means if I do upgrade to the new Cobra model, I'm going to have to change my shaft or change my hosel. It's annoying, but I'm sure it's not the end of the world. But yeah, so the idea of this, you could change the loft, so increase the loft but keep the face square, which is great. You know, if you look at tailor-made hosels, you increase the loft, then you're basically the face getting closed. You do decrease it, sorry, and then it's more open. Unlike, you know, your Titleists and I think it's Titleists obviously they're very good at that as well. Callaway, I think you've got the same issue. I'm not too sure. I can't remember off the top of my head, but Cobra have always been very good at that. You know, you can increase that loft but keep that face square. Um, and then you do have a draw setting on it as well. So yeah, really good sort of technology they had there, which they've obviously think they've improved because they've changed it this year. Well, in 2015, 2025, they think they've changed it. So yeah, this is also a 455 cc head, so it's not the 460 because it is that better players shape head there. So there you go. So do be aware of that. So yeah, great club. You know, with all the Cobras back then, you know, you didn't get a lofted head. You basically got one head, so you could decrease it to 8.5 degrees, increase it to 11.5 degrees, and then have a draw setting at 9 degrees, 10 degrees, or 11 degrees. So there were the adjustments. So there you go. Another things to note, I haven't mentioned there, is titanium. No carbon fibre in this like the modern day ones. And yeah, just a good solid driver. All right, so there's all the technology that's in the club. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get down to the range. I'm going to throw some figures at you, and then we're going to come back here for the ACES Golf Scale. All right, see you in a bit.
So here I am down at the range, and let's jump straight into those figures. So on average I had a carry of 216 yards, total distance 255 yards, ball speed 145 miles per hour, launch angle 11 degrees, height 59 feet, and well, swing speed of 97.1 miles per hour. It's a little bit down on the swing speed, normally around 98, but it is a cold winter's day. So really happy with those numbers, especially for the ball speed, to be fair. You know, 145 and still getting that 255 distance. Overall, really fun to hit. You know, forgiveness-wise was okay with the weight at the back. At the front, it was a little bit of a different story. Really did make my bad shots really quite bad. But again, it was fun to hit and easy to pick up and confidence-inspiring, to be fair. Longest on the day was a monster 242 carry, 282 total distance. Well, really everything aligned perfectly, and it was, well, just came right out there. While the shortest was 238 total distance, so there is a bit of a drop off, as I mentioned, with forgiveness. But overall, really nice, fun club to hit. Here's a quick table with those figures. So as I mentioned, on average, you know, 216, a little bit lower than I'd want really with carry. Normally I want sort of around that 220, 225 mark and above. But you know, launch angle 11, high 59, you know, that being a low spinning driver, even with the weight at the back, you know, didn't quite get it in the air and stay in the air. When I got the longest, look at that monster, you know, did get it in the air, 75, you know, feet, 13 degrees, worked really well, and a quicker swing speed. Shortest, well, what can I say? The figures speak for themselves on that one.
So what can I say? Very, very impressive figures with this club. You know, the majority of the time I did have it set in sort of my settings, so way at the back, and at that sort of 11.5 degrees as well. I normally pay 12 degrees to help me really with my launch, my dodgy swing. So yeah, so you know, on average, carry 216, not great. More with my club around 225. It's obviously just that low spin aspect of the club, even with the way at the back. Total distance 255, you know, really happy with that. Ball speed 145 miles per hour, so really good numbers for not great ball speed to be fair on the day. Launch angle 11, a little bit lower than I'd want, and height 59 again, a little bit lower than I want. And swing speed on average 97.1, so a little bit lower than my 98. But I am swinging in winter now, so I'm not going to be as fast as I have been when I've been testing a lot of the stuff in the summer. So overall, still really good numbers and really happy with it. And then you had the fly, you know, when I got the swing speed up to 98.9, 242 yards carry, 282 yards total distance. This thing's a beast. I mean, that's one of the longest drivers I've tested on this channel for like, because every now and again, you know, everything just aligns and my swing becomes perfect, which I'm sure we've all had. You know, when I suddenly get an absolute flyer, you know, I've had it with, you know, some of the longest hits I hit with like the TaylorMade sim. You know, that's one of the longest I've done, and this was right up there with that when that bullet that came out. I haven't got the dark speed up to it ever. I've driven a green on a long par four, well, short par four with it once, which was around 300 yards. So it is potentially there, but not down at the range. I haven't got it, but you know, really insane figures for a club that's from 2015. You know, the fact that that's up there with the longest I've hit at the range when I've hit some really long clubs. So there you go. So getting into distance, 4.5. 4.5. You know, I don't think if you put this up against a brand new, you know, TaylorMade Plus, QI10 Plus, I think it's QI10 Plus, or, you know, your triple diamond Callaway AI Smoke, I don't think it's going to beat it. And that's the only reason I haven't given it a 5 out of 5, because I think it's going to spin a little bit higher than them. And therefore, you put it in the right hands of someone who's got absolute monster quick swing, you're not going to quite match it. Because I definitely think these older clubs do spin a little bit more than the newer ones, which for your average golfer isn't a bad thing at all, to be fair. So, distance 4.5 out of 5, you know, average above that 250 mark, especially the time I was trying this club. You know, to get that 282 was great. You know, I had a lot around the 259, 257, you know, 258. Really good numbers. So yeah, 4.5 out of 5. This thing is a beast. I did test it when I swapped the weight and put it more in the front. Was getting a lot more lower ball flight. Ball speed jumped up as well, but wasn't quite getting the numbers that I'd want, because for me, obviously, I needed the back to have a little bit spin because of my slower swing speed for this club. Don't get me wrong, my swing speed isn't that slow. You know, 98 on average is pretty, you know, it's average, I'd say. I think it's average. I might say it's a little bit more than average, but with that weight in the front, it's a different game. So be aware of that. If you've got a really good swing speed, put that weight at the front, and this thing will fly perfectly for you. But for me, perfect setting and some really good numbers. So yeah, 4.5 out of 5. Feel wise, 3 out of 5. Nothing spectacular. You know, I think the current dark speed, they're one of the best feeling drivers out there at the moment, along with the Titleists and the Zunos. I really like the feel of them. This didn't quite have that feel. I could tell generally where my mishits were, you know, and how the club was performing itself. But yeah, I generally just think that, you know, my dark speed is better. So 3 out of 5, nothing upsetting about it. So really still a good solid feel, but nothing to scream home about. So yeah, 3 out of 5. Maybe could have put a 2.5, but I think 2.5 would be a little bit harsh. So on to the looks, and I have given this a 4 out of 5. I love the shape of it. You know, I love the orange. I really have. Even the bottom, I like the shape of, but I'm just not a fan of when you have those sort of channels there. You know, when I'm looking down at it, I just always think that's not going to be the most aerodynamic thing there. So that's why I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. But overall, you know, I really do like the look of it. But because there's none of that carbon fiber in it and everything like that, you know, I wouldn't say it's aged too well. You know, you go back a few years for a couple of drivers and you think, oh, that could be a brand new modern day driver out. You sort of look at this and you go, well, that's a couple of years old. So hasn't aged the best, and that's why it's got a 4 out of 5. But still, you know, I love the orange. I love the shape of it. You know, it is a very, personally, good, better players looking driver. So yeah, so 4 out of 5 there. On to the forgiveness. So forgiveness for this, you have two settings really, because you obviously have it when the weight's at the back and the weight's at the front. Even when the weight's at the back, you know, I did have a few drop-offs when I had some really bad shots. You know, the shortest, you know, 238, ball speed 140. All right, I only swang 95.6 miles per hour, but you know, that wasn't a great shot at all. And I know my dark speed would have dealt with that a lot better, that swing. So even with the weight at the back, I probably would have given it maybe a 3 out of 5. Weight at the front, it drops even more because obviously the mass at the front is even less forgiving, so I give that probably a 2. So I'm averaging out at 2.5 out of 5. So not bad forgiveness there, to be honest, but I think that's one thing the newer drivers do better. They don't do any distance better because of all the conformities and rules, etc. I just definitely think they've improved the forgiveness a little bit more so that you can hit the face a little bit more. So, you're basically getting the ball up there. Don't get me wrong, when this came out in 2015, this was a really good, relatively better player forgiving driver. And the forgiveness isn't that bad at all, especially with the way at the back, 3 out of 5. It's nothing to, for this type of driver, it's nothing to be upset by at all. But yeah, that's one thing that I would say, a driver that's sort of 9 years older is going to perform a little bit better, is basically that forgiveness. And that's something to think about. If you're hitting it right out the middle every single time, fantastic. Doesn't really matter what driver you haven't had, you're going to nail it. With the older clubs, you've got to just, with the drivers anyway, you've got to think a little bit about the forgiveness. However, there's still plenty of forgiveness in there, just to pick it up and just hit it and have fun with it, to be honest, with the way at the back, because it is fun. If you're a high handicapper, I'd probably suggest looking at the Fly-Z. Higher spinning, even more forgiveness at the back. But better player, good swing speed, definitely going to have enough forgiveness for you, 100%. Now on to the price. So I've found these online, sort of second-hand stores. You're looking around sort of £110, around $135, $140. eBay, they do range. I've seen them go for £80. I've seen them go for, again, £100. So around, $100, $125. So price, I think, is pretty good. So I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. For what you get with this, you're going to get an adjustable sleeve. You're going to get moving weight, so you can change the flight of it, where you can change the flight with adjustable speed. You can change the flight of it with these movable weights. If you want a higher flight, move it to the back, higher spin, more forgiveness. You want that lower, more penetrating flight, you can stick the weight at the front, and it's going to come down a lot further, well, a lot lower. So great, maybe if you play by the coast, on days where the wind's not blowing, have it at the back, enjoy yourself, swing free, as they say, because you've got maximum forgiveness there. On a windy day, stick it at the front, really penetrating flight there, and let it run. So with the adjustability on this driver, I think it's really good. I think the price is good, so I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. Maybe could say maybe a 4.5 out of 5, but I definitely think there's sort of drivers around that £100 mark that maybe outperform a little bit of forgiveness and a little bit of performance, especially if you're getting the sort of the older tailor-mades that maybe 1 or 2 years more, well, newer than this, or maybe the M2s, your M1s, sort of things like that, where you also have maximum adjustabilities. It's roughly the same price. So yeah, 4 out of 5. I think it's a good deal. I think it's a great deal, actually. 4 out of 5 is a great deal, but it's not going to be a 5 out of 5 for me for the price. Alright guys, so there you go, there's my review of the Cobra Fly-Z Plus driver. Overall thoughts, great adjustability for its price, still an absolute monster out the middle of it. Forgiveness is good, but don't expect it to be the most forgiving club in the world. And more importantly, it is fun to hit, and regardless of what any of you will say, I love the orange. I'd love Cobra to bring that back, give you an option to have an orange driver. Like Rickie has. I love it. So yeah, there you go, guys. Alright guys, now I hope you enjoyed my review of the Fly-Z Plus driver. Leave a comment down below, have you played this driver? Do you play Cobra drivers? If you do, let me know your thoughts. Also give it a like if you enjoyed it. And remember, as I said before, do subscribe to the channel if you're new, so you do not miss out on weekly ACS Golf reviews. I've got loads of cool stuff behind me, old, new, weird, etc. to review for you guys, and a few other videos come up as well. Alright guys, I'll see you soon for the next ACS Golf video. See you then. Bye bye.